Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Final Fantasy VII walkthrough. We are just outside of Costa del Sol actually. I'm going to head right back in. I just ran out to save at the end of the last video, so let's head back inside here and have a look around. Okay lady. Alright, so what are we heading into first? Alright, so this is the bar. It's probably a couple of familiar faces in here, as well as this guy kind of sulking in the corner. But he's got, alright, platinum bangles. I don't know. So they're 2 slots, but they're double. To be honest, I don't really feel like they're worth it, but I bought a couple anyway. Apparently I'm going to buy a couple of Molotovs too. And there's the 4-slot armor. They're really kind of just nice for the extra materia slot. As far as defensive capabilities, really not up to snuff. Those are not that great. And then there's the old carbon bangles. Obviously I already had stole a bunch way back in the Shinra headquarters. So I obviously was not going to purchase any of these here, but those are still okay as far as armor goes. I did grab or steal a bunch of, were they Shinra betas, I think, or Shinra alpha, something like that, armor. So those are kind of new, and I think those are 4-slot as well. So you know, as far as defense wise, a little bit better I would guess than the carbon bangles, but really I feel like they're just kind of decent because they're 4 slots, and 2 of them are actually connected, so that's kind of nice. Okay, so this is Johnny. I'm not sure, but I thought this was the same guy from earlier in Midgar. So, you know, he even says something like he's a childhood friend of Cloud's. Or I should say, maybe friend isn't the right word. It doesn't sound like they were actually friends. And I think he just called him a murderer. So, I don't know. Probably not friends. Here Red's playing ball with the kids. And you can kick the soccer ball right at him, and he'll jump up and, I think, bark at you or something. And Yuffie's running a materia shop. Let's see if there's anything new here. No, not looking like it. So I will not be purchasing anything from here. Butch here. I feel like Butch is about to get robbed. I would not want Yuffie running a materia shop that I owned. Alright, so let's head down to the beach. Familiar face down here. Oh, Cloud. Look at that. Yes, look at that. That's how Tifa speaks. Very, very low voice. I doubt it. Okay. Anyways. So here's Hojo. Chilling, taking a vacation apparently. I'll be honest. This feels really weird because like just off of his personality, and maybe it's because maybe movies and whatnot have ruined me, but I feel like based on his personality, I don't feel like he's the vacation type. You know, I just feel like he's I don't know. Just knowing what he's done, he just again does not feel like the kind that's going to leave his lab. So, I don't know. Anyways, as far as dialogue here, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know why we wouldn't fight him here, but I mean, he's a horrible dude. He tried killing. Well, he pitted Red and Eris against each other. Should be obvious. I'm getting a tan. If we're both after the same goal. Sephiroth, did you see him? I see. certain hypothesis. Have you ever had the feeling something is calling to you, or that you had to visit someplace? See, this could be interesting. You're a soldier. Would you like to be my guinea pig? So, I think what Hojo there is referring to is the voice that Cloud is hearing. And he says, you know, there's a hypothesis. He very well could be right, because it certainly seemed to me anyway that there was a voice. I don't know if I would say it was calling out to Cloud, but he definitely hears a voice. Whose that is, you know, his younger self, who knows, I don't know. But hopefully, and I assume that gets revealed eventually. I just, again, I don't remember. I'm super rusty when it comes to the storyline for the game. But I don't know. Hojo plays it off here like they have the same goal, and that like they're after Sephiroth. And I mean, while that may be true, that doesn't necessarily make us or make Hojo an ally. I mean, he's still a pretty horrible dude in my opinion, but whatever. That's that, I guess. 200 gil a night? I think not. I don't think we need to stay that badly. Alright, and here's Barret monkeying around with the sailor outfit. I don't know what he's doing in there, but we will leave him to it. So that's almost everything here. We have one more house to check in on before we take off. I believe this guy here, if you speak to him a bunch of times, I don't remember if he'll leave or if he'll ask you if you want to buy the place. I can't remember, but eventually you actually can buy this place. I want to say it's something like 300,000 gil or something like that. I obviously don't have that kind of cash on me at the moment, but later on I'll probably come in here and buy the place. So here's a new weapon for Tifa, the motor drive. It's a 3-slot, obviously, and it's got double the materia raising capabilities. I am not going to equip that. Again, at this point in the game, and really for quite a while, I actually tend to focus more on weapons and armor that have multiple slots, just so that I can try to raise more materia, as opposed to, you know, like mathematically speaking, some of the weapons that are 3 slots but are double, you know, are technically better if you're talking about, you know, trying to get as much, I would almost say AP for your buck, if that sounds good, but. You know, because you know, you multiply 3 slots by 2 or by double, and that's 6 times, or 6. It's almost like having 6 slots, whereas a lot of our other weapons are only 4 slots right now. So again, that's one way to look at it. But oftentimes I'm not so worried about that, and I'd rather, you know, I guess build up multiple pieces of materia at a time. The kind of the good thing about that is that you'll be a little more diversified as far as your magic goes. You know, you won't be limited to, well, in this case it would be only 3 pieces of materia. So again, anyways, that's kind of why I'm going about that. I mean, there's definitely an argument for the double materia raising weapons at this point, but not something that I'm interested in. Those weird looking enemies right there, I think they're it must be if you like let them live for a little while, they will start kind of like multiplying, and my impression is that if you let them multiply to the point where I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, must be like 5 of them on the field, you can kill the main one and it'll make all the little ones die too. and I think it's worth a decent amount of EXP, possibly even AP. I don't remember, and I'll be honest, I don't ever spend any time fighting those, just because at this point I really like to just move on, and I actually pick specific areas in the game where I like to level at, and this is not one of them, and I actually won't be leveling anymore for quite some time, or like specifically going out of my way to do any leveling for quite a while. So yeah, so that's that. That's what's up with that. Woo! Hey, you're actually talking. Well, yeah. Why wouldn't we talk to you, buddy? You seem like a pretty good dude. Alright, so it looks like Sephiroth has possibly been through here. Alright, where are we at here? Gosh, I thought these guys had something to steal. Yeah, it looks like we're going for a steal. I don't remember exactly what these guys have, but we are about to find out. Diamond pin. Okay. So I believe that is a weapon for Red. I don't remember exactly what it is or what it does, but anyways, I suppose if you've got him in your party, you can always check that out. If I could guess, I would guess that it's a 3-slot double materia raising weapon. I think a lot of those are fairly common at this point in the game. If I had won it earlier, I believe the Force Stealer is a 3-slot double materia boosting weapon. Then obviously we got the motor drive just now. So I kind of feel like, in most cases anyway, that's kind of how the weapon progression works. You know, once you start getting 4-slot weapons for one character, generally the rest will follow. You know, the striking staff is a good example for Eris. She gets it super early, actually, in the graveyard, and that's, you know, obviously way back in Midgar. And then Cloud actually gets his Hard Edge. Tifa, you know, soon after gets the I think it's the Grand Glove. Barret gets the Atomic Scissors, so on and so forth. So again, I feel like, you know, once they start introducing one type of weapon, you know, be it a double raising, a lot of times other characters will get similar weapons to follow. So kind of feel like that's kind of generally how they like to do things. That's not always going to be the case, but I would say that's a pretty common theme, especially when it comes to the shops. The shops are really specific, or normally really specific in the items that they've got. You know, most times if it's a 4-slot, you know, and 2 are connected for Cloud, then that's the same for the rest of the characters. So, all right. I would say it's a good idea, a really good idea to save your game right here. We've got I'm not going to call it a mini game, but it's an interesting little portion of the game here where the tracks, I think it's kind of like the tracks break from underneath the character, and you'll have to, if you hit O to jump, you actually don't want to hit O to jump. And what you want to do here is hold one of the buttons, right or left, and it's just repeatedly pressing O. So you want to bash the O button as fast as you can while holding one of the directions. Now, If you hold to the, I believe it's the right, you end up here. And this will get you the, what is this? Star Pendant, okay. And then by holding left, you'll get the next item. Now, this little, you know, you can almost call it a mini game, I guess, happens 3 times. And, you know, again, you'll want to make sure that at some point you pick both directions. So don't just hold right, you know, twice in a row. Otherwise, you'll end up with, you know, you'll get whatever. If you hold right the first time, you get a star pendant. If you hold right again, you'll just end up crawling right back up, and you won't get anything extra. So yeah. And I believe technically then these items would be missable. I don't know what the second item is. The star pendant, though, to be honest, this isn't the only place in the game that you can get them, so I don't really feel like that's something that you have to stress about. You know, even if you were to mess this up, I guess, or do it a little bit incorrectly, then you know, that could be a little bit of a problem, but not too bad, not too big of a deal. Alright, so let's head back down on this side now. Oh, another battle, lame sauce. Trying to think if there's any other cool, like, steals here or enemy skills, and I'm kind of drawing a blank. And boy, Death Blow is doing a ton of work. I spam the crap out of that skill. Hellfire. And boy, you know what? If I would have been thinking earlier there, when we were still back in Costa del Sol, if you want to, and I did, but you can actually travel all the way back to Junon by jumping back on the boat. There's an NPC right next to the docks that'll tell you, you know, if you want to get it back on the boat, it'll cost you like 100 gil or something like that. And so you can actually go back to Junon. And the reason for doing that actually is just if you want to gain the enemy skill or enemy skills that you've got so far, or that we've obtained. I don't remember exactly when I went back and got all of them, but at some point I will be making the trip back over there, and you know, I'll get beta again, or beta on the second enemy skill materia, as well as Chocobuckle, all that fun stuff. Here's the is this the Wiser Staff? I think this was called. And let's check this guy. Yep, there you go. So that's another 3-slot double materia raising weapon. So kind of going along that theme right now. Turbo Ether, and so there, if you noticed, I was bashing the O button because I just wanted to jump and not do that little mini game again. There's only 2 items, so there's no reason to do it a third time. Alright, so it looks like I'm just trying to figure out exactly what I want to equip here. I ended up with, I think, one extra transform materia somehow. I don't remember why that ended up happening. Maybe somebody joined with one and I wasn't expecting it or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, anyways, alright, so let's take out some more of these baddies and keep moving along here. Petrify Song. So Petrify Song will turn your character to stone if the timer runs out, which can be annoying. Excuse me. Alright. And generally, so this will be pretty much how I do a lot of the battles. There's, you know, obviously a lot of battles here with multiple targets, and instead of you know, using the attack command and beating them up, I usually just use a summon or cast beta, you know, anything like that. Here is a little spot actually where if you take this lower path, you actually have the option of swapping your characters up. So if if there's somebody in the party that you don't want, you can swap it up. But I didn't bother. I was pretty happy with the ladies. Excuse me. Boy, getting the yawns now. It might be time for a nap. Boom. I want to look on the internet. I gotta. It's been bugging me now for a little while on what the little Mog's headband says. I'm sure it's got to be on the internet, right? Everything's on the internet. I'll look that up and report back. Report back later. Alright, let's head up to the top route here. Jump across, alright. Everybody's waiting there patiently for us to drop the bridge. Okay. Oh, and I just had to get into another battle right before I was about to hit the switch. Chunk, chunk. 0. What's the deal with that? I don't understand. I noticed that a couple of times. I don't know. Maybe their first hit is, or maybe the first time you attack those guys sometimes just does 0 damage. I don't get it. Or maybe it was the element. Ah, that's it. You know what? Now that I think about it, so I think Cloud has the elemental materia attached to a lightning magic on his weapon, which makes his attacks, lightning elemental. And I'm betting those little bird guys, being that they're using using what is that called, Bolt Kiss or something like that. I'm betting they absorb lightning damage, so that would be why he's not doing any damage to them. And I didn't notice it, obviously, or I did notice it and I just didn't care. One of the two. All right, so the bridge is down now, and the rest of the characters were able to move across. And so, unfortunately, we're going to end up doing a little backtracking. But first, there is a little hidden area, and if you listen closely, if you're playing, you probably can't hear it because of my loud mouth. But there's little birds chirping as you run by this area. And so there's, like I said, there's like a little, kind of like a hidden little area. So, alright, so you can decide whether or not to take the treasure or leave it where it is. If you take the treasure, I think you end up killing these birds, which is pretty brutal. But, anyways, if you take the treasure, I think you get 10 Phoenix Downs or something like that. So if you're, cold-blooded, you could chop them up and take the Phoenix down. Be on your way. I just left him. Waste not, want not, right? I don't need those Phoenix Downs. Especially being this overleveled. I can afford my own, thanks. I don't need to slaughter innocent baby chicks. Boom! Alright. I love that summon. Alright, a little bit of backtracking here, unfortunately, but that is life. One step forward, 2 steps back. and then 2 steps forward. Something like that. Alright, anyways. So there's a little hidden area down here. Which, by the way, I know that if I was playing this guy like way back in the day without it, because I eventually got a guide, picked up a guide for the game, and there's no way I would have found everything without some sort of guide. I am simply not that observant. And this area actually specifically, if you notice here, I always like to use the, I always hit the select button so that there's a little arrow over Cloud's head, and the little like red and green arrows that'll tell you where the screen transitions are at. But in this case, there isn't one of those. And actually, same with that little hidden area with the little chickies. But yeah, here I'm gonna run around aimlessly for a little while because I didn't remember where this cave was at, but it is just to the right of us. Death blow! Do it! Do it! Kaboom! We getting sick of that yet? That animation? I'm not. I think it's hilarious. Alright, to the right here. There we go. So I believe it's hidden. I would say it's hidden fairly well back there. And we've got a mine source. Oh, and then was his treasure chest already opened, or did I open that and I didn't see? I wasn't paying attention. I'm the worst. Anyways, all right. So this guy is hanging out inside what looks like a junk cave, sitting on top of a bulldozer, which I guess is pretty badass. If you're gonna make a couch, what's cooler than a bulldozer couch? Just saying. I'm a little jealous, if you couldn't tell. Alright, so we're gonna make our way across this gigantic bridge, and if I remember correctly, yeah, there's... Alright, so we've got some bomb enemies here. I'm actually gonna steal... they don't have... I mean, these items aren't particularly useful, but they're... I don't know, I don't even know if I want to call them unique. They're like consumables. And I don't remember what specifically this one is. It's probably like a Fire 2. It'll probably cast Fire 2 or maybe Fire 1. There it is, right arm. So again, that'll cast, again, it's either Fire 1 or Fire 2 or something like that in battle when it's used. Normally I don't steal things like that. I don't really find them all that useful, but as with always, I'm actually going for the like a 100% item list, so I wanted to make sure I grabbed everything, and I should say grab everything as early as I can. Alright, what do we have here? Another bomb. Another one! Won't last long. Nope, that was the end of that. Alright, so here we are in North Coral. We've finally made it. We braved the mountain passes. or one of the mountain passes. Alright, what am I doing here? 28 boomerangs. Not bad. Spent a little time in the forest there. Oh, I think I was looking for something. Yeah, I was looking for... Maybe it was the W machine gun? Something like that. And here... It looks like Barrett's got some bullies. It's kind of interesting, too, to see him like this. He always comes off as such a tough guy. And, I mean, I would say he's a pretty physically large guy. So, I kind of find it interesting that he gets pushed around a little bit by what appears to be a bunch of little dudes. But I think the reasoning for that will become apparent here in a bit. So apparently he says it's his fault that this town got destroyed. You know who's responsible for North Coral winding up like this. No, well, I mean, yes, actually now kind of. Alright, where to next? I'm gonna run into some random tents. This train's coming in soon. Okay. I used to be a coal train engineer. That sounds fun. Not really, but you never know. Alright. So yeah, so apparently instead of living in real homes, the people of Coral have now resorted to living in tents, which, I mean, hey, yeah, I mean, the houses apparently got destroyed, so tent is better than nothing. Hopefully it's warm here. Those tents don't look all that insulated. Let's see what the General Storm's got. Transform, Maiden's Kiss. Probably not a bad idea to buy a couple of those, as well as the cornucopias. There aren't a whole lot of enemies that will use that in or coming up, or you know, use Toad or Mini. But oh, there's the Force Stealer. I picked one of those up again for the having a complete item list. And there you have it. So that's the triple materia raising. That's the, like I was saying in the previous video, that's the best reward from the Junon kind of like meeting with what's his name, Rufus. But I just figured I'd wait and buy it here instead and get the HP plus materia instead. But anyways, I am out of time here. So as always, I hope this guide was helpful, and I hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.